top 10 strongest strike-based ultimate attacks usable by custom characters in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, updated for DLC 16, The Hero of Justice Pack 2. Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Very quickly, if you try this yourself, you may get slightly different numbers on each skill, because for this, so it's even across the board. I'll be doing this on 1199 Malsane avatar. Here are the settings, here are the stats: a neutral QQ bang, no super soul, no limit burst, no awoken skill, and meditation so I can have max key. We'll be using full power Super Saiyan Brody from the Dragon Ball Super Brody movie as our, I guess, test subject, so we can see how much damage we have with everything set to auto recovery. With that said, do me a favor, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed, and let's now finally get into the list.
Use code KICK if you or use code KICK if you or use code KICK if you or to save 100% off.
Number 10, Divine Lasso, 7,916 damage. Starting off with a fairly iconic skill from Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black. Great skill. Top 10 as of right now, strongest strike-based ultimates in the game. Can I please get a he sent his regards in the comments of the video? Okay, so yeah, this is a skill that I use both in terms of like a gimmick as well as, you know, like an actual skill, because it's a pretty good skill. Honestly, there's not really much to say about it. 3 bars of key to use. Granted, it does take a little bit to start up, just because, you know, you've got like the, you know, Keyblade, Lasso, extending, and then you go and hit the needles in the opponent, and then yeah, it basically just implodes. And a rather fantastic skill. Honestly, I don't really have much else to say about this skill, but again, you can make this significantly stronger, as I've already said, by having the proper build, as in a super soul, QQ bang, limit burst, awoken skill, etc, etc, etc. Number 9, Brave Sword attack at 8,291 damage. Probably out of maybe every attack in the entire game, as of right now at least, this is one of, if not the best looking attack, maybe the most cinematic, with the exception of the Beast version of Special Beam Cannon Beast. Now again, with this, it becomes unblockable, but the startup time is fairly, well, it's not that it's long, it's just that if you know your opponent has this or is going to use it, you can just protect yourself, you really can. But if it does land, this can't be blocked. Like, this really can't be blocked. And if your opponent, or rather if your opponent is going to be defeated from this landing, it's so disrespectful. And because of that, I absolutely love this skill from a DLC 5 parallel quest in Xenoverse 2. Great skill. Number 8, Impulse Slash at 8,522 damage. So this is the version you can use for your custom character. Caulifla, Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla rather, does have a version of this, but I think it's slightly different. So because of that, I'm not, well, I haven't even tested it for the purposes of this video, because that version, at least as of right now, is not available for custom characters, just the normal Impulse Slash version, the Cab version, I guess. Now, I believe if this gets blocked, it will do significantly more stamina damage to your opponent, and I think it will do more damage, like significantly more damage if you use it while in a Super Saiyan transformation. And by that I mean, yes, every skill will do more damage if you are in any sort of awoken, but I think for this skill specifically, I think the text on all like the description is it will do more damage if either it gets blocked or if you're in the Super Saiyan awoken. I do apologize, off the top of my head I can't exactly remember. But look, even if you go for a stamina break on your opponent, then land this, there's actually a decent chance that before this attack finishes, them either going to have all of their stamina recharged, or the vast majority of their stamina has recharged. So although I wouldn't necessarily say it's a bad skill, just be very careful using it, because again, it just probably isn't the best option. But with that said, it is, as of right now, the 8th strongest strike-based ultimate attack for your custom Attack. Unrelenting Barrage, 8,537 damage. A rather old school attack, actually, going back as far as the first Xenoverse 1 network test, where we could actually use this for the first time. Bit of a Xenoverse history there. Can I get a like for some Xenoverse history? Thanks. Yeah, so again, like, it's a good skill. I believe it only takes 3 bars of ki to use. It'll do the job, but there's just many options better, especially on this list, right? Where it's like, yes, it'll do the job. It's a good ultimate, but you just at least I personally, very, very, very rarely see this being ran. Even if someone uses Gohan, or rather custom Gohan, custom Kid Gohan, they'll just have like a different ultimate on. Again, it's not a bad one, but I think because because of whatever reason, it's just not ran barely ever. If you do use this or use it on a fairly regular basis, do feel free to let us know in the comments of the video. Number 6, Apocalyptic Burst at 9,043 damage. One of the new skills added to Xenoverse 2, once again, as of this upload. Now, as a side note, this is the version of Apocalyptic Burst that is charged, as in you just hold down the input for that initial kick before going into the cutscene. So yeah, look, it does a lot of damage, but I think the reason why it does more damage than maybe, well, than like, what, a few others before it, in this list at least, is because the initial kick, if you're going to use it, you're going to probably want to use it fully charged. But because of that, you're just going to have to land a heavy stamina break or stun or freeze your opponent long enough for that initial kick to actually land. Then once it lands, job's a good one. Like, you're sorted, you're good. Fun attack, but again, I just think it takes too long to start up, and that's probably why, once again, it does tend to do significantly more damage than a lot of other strike-based ultimates in Xenoverse 2. Number 5, Dragon Fist. 10,043 damage. The first ultimate on this list to both take 5 bars of ki to use, and the first ultimate that does actually do over 10,000 damage natively if you are a straight character at level 99 without any sort of additional damage increases, or not multipliers, but damage increases like a Super Soul, QQ Bang, like I've already mentioned. Yeah, great skill, over 10,000 damage, can easily be a one-hit KO if you run the proper build, or like just have like an attack increase limit burst, or the Dragon Fist Super Soul, which also, when you limit burst, gives you a massive attack increase to specifically just the Dragon Fist ultimate. Do keep in mind though that if you break your opponent's stamina, or if you land it and they still have a ton of stamina, you can use an evasive to protect yourself. If not, to flat out escape it. You know, if you have like instant rise, maybe hyper movement, the time skip tremor pulse, or whatever the time skip evasive is, and especially evasives like armored boost. But if you can land it, especially with, you know, a limit burst, it's goodbye. It's just goodbye. Great skill. Number 4, Core Breaker. 11,122 damage. Much like with Apocalyptic Burst, this is also a fairly new ultimate attack added in DLC 15 Hero of Justice Pack 1 rather than Hero of Justice Pack 2 DLC 16. Now, this also takes 5 bars of ki to use, and the reason this does so much damage as normally is because, well, once again, it takes 5 bars of ki to use. Gamma 2 used it and failed using it against Cell Max in the Dragon Ball superhero movie, and it does take a fairly decent amount of time to actually start up, meaning unless you hit your opponent with a stamina break, a heavy stamina break, they can just move out the way or just break your guard or what have you. And it's because it's probably the trickiest attack, I think at least, as of right now, in Xenoverse 2 to actually land, as you need to land it from an angle, or rather you need to be stepped away from the opponent, then use it, which will then jump you up, and then you land it at an angle. It is tricky to land. It's not the worst thing in the world, but again, if you can land it, an easy 11,000 points, or damage rather, and once again, you can make this unbelievably more powerful with the correct build and stuff like that. Fun skill, but again, the reason it takes so much damage is because it is fairly awkward, for the most part, to actually land. Number 3, Spirit Sword, 11,305 damage. Another one of my go-to ultimates on my main build. So even though this only takes 4 bars of ki to use, and it's incredibly fast to activate, it still does more damage to the opponent. And I believe now you can use an evasive and limit burst out of it. But man, it's like, given that Core Breaker is 5 bars of ki to use, so 1 bar of ki more, it's slower and it's just trickier in general to land. One of the most like OG skills in the Xenoverse series, Spirit Sword, just does more damage and it's faster, and I think it's probably easier to unlock from. It's either the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta Expert mission or the Super Saiyan Blue Goku mission, I forget. One of them gives Spirit Sword and the other gives the Super Spirit Bomb ultimate attack. Look, the reason I use this is because it's just great. It really is. As a strike build, I would highly recommend at least knowing how this attack specifically works. 4 bars of ki for a very, very powerful and really cool looking strike based ultimate attack. Number 2, Godly Display, 17,434 damage. So Godly Display, the number 2 strongest strike ultimate, and the number 1 strongest coming up after this momentarily, probably wouldn't really be too big of a surprise, because these both can be used, well, Godly Display can be used if you have a minimum of 5 bars of ki, but I used it with 10 bars of ki with meditation, so it is going to do significantly more damage. Again, I don't really have too much to say about this. Now, it does take this much damage probably because of how, well, it's not the easiest attack to land. It's not exactly too hard, but it's not exactly like an attack you can land like Spirit Sword, or even an attack, a strike-based ultimate, like just this combination. But if you can break your opponent's guard and they don't limit burst, or they've already limit burst so they can't do it again, and you hit them with a Godly Display, worst case scenario, it's gonna put them down to exceptionally low health. Best case scenario, it's going to defeat them. And number 1, Power Rush at 17,578 damage. After Godly Display was number 2, I think it was fairly obvious that the only other, as of right now, current strike-based ultimate attack that's going to be stronger is going to be, well, the 10 bar attack of Power Rush, right? Now, I did also test the Backit version, but I believe that did exactly the same amount of damage as just the normal version. So that said, 17,558 damage. Now, do keep in mind that full Power Jiren does have Power Rush, but it's a slightly different one in terms of animation, and I haven't tested that because that version, at least as of right now, isn't available for custom characters. So if they do actually add that version in the future, maybe Power Rush parentheses full power version, I don't know, then we'll definitely test it and update this list and all that good stuff. And yeah, that's the strongest ultimate, strike-based ultimate in Xenoverse 2 as of right now.